No, you don't.
We suffered. If I put somebody right now, you know how long it take the police to get here? You feel what I'm saying? It's wild, wild west out here. And they don't give a damn about us. They send this puppet nigga who ain't even from this community to say nothing. To say nothing. To pacify us. The people who vote. The people who vote. The people who live here. You feel me? We get treated like stepchildren in our own neighborhood. Why when we call code enforcement to get some of these homeless people away from us, we get no answer for 4 or 5 months? Why is that? Why are we on our own? Why are we giving y'all police a paycheck? Why are we giving the city council a check? They're not doing no work. We gotta we gotta police our own community. So when we vote, hey, when everybody vote, remember this. Remember they never let us in. Oh, I vote. And that ranked choice voting is unconstitutional.
Ranked choice voting is unconstitutional. Peace, y'all. This is your host, Seneca Scott. That's one of the most important videos I've ever seen to describe the state of Oakland politics in D3 Oakland. And today we're going to be talking about that leak memo calling black people tokens. Notice who said they send you puppet in words to the hood to pacify them, and they treat us like stepchildren in our own neighborhoods. Now, every time I say that, to say that I'm reflecting on the angst of the black community, the black puppet progressives want to try to get out ahead of it and act like I'm not speaking for the people. But none of them will answer for that video. So today we're going to be talking more about that leak memo. And we held a press conference today to talk about it. Actually, let me play that one first.
Mayor Jenkins made also the council to stay silent. Silence is being complicit. That means you're not a part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And if you do not do your job, just like Sheng Thao, just like former Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price, you too will be recalled. The people demand better. Enough is enough.
So that was a rally about this leak memo, because the 4 most important questions that need to be answered seem to have been forgotten as the progressive and hopefully not our media, but seemingly our media, wants to memory hold this unfortunate event. Just put it to the past, sort of like Barbara Lee says she wants to do about Sheng Thao's recall. We just need to forget about all that. 4 months ago, how we recalled the first mayor ever because she was failing us and then got indicted and faces 95 years for government corruption. And that government corruption still exists today. And then some of the people who she hired are calling black people tokens. And then I did have them on my website, but let me quietly remove them, Barbara Lee. Yeah, forget about it, Barbara Lee. We're not going to forget about it. Actually, we're going to get more into it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is, besides who was in the room, we need to know who was in that room. Most importantly, was District 3 Council Member Carroll Fife in that room. Now look at that grouping. You can see there that space between used BP as tokens and black supporters, and how it's written directly under CM Fife can outreach to NAACP. It is abundantly clear they were talking about a plan to use Fife to use BP as tokens. They also mentioned Carroll Fife. Another time to the right, CM Fife to pay attention to read. Carroll Fife is the only name mentioned twice on this document. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that, because I believe that she absolutely carried out her role. She carried out her role to use black people as tokens and divide the black community. Allow me to present my evidence, because we show receipts on Gotham Oakland. So here we have a picture of a group of black people. Walter Riley, Boots Riley's father. We have Janky promoter Ray Bobbitt back there. We have Sabir Lockett. We have Millie Cleveland. We have Kathy Leonard, who's a disbarred lawyer. We have Pamela Drake, who is just an awful, and I do mean AWFL, and just an awful person too. The list of who's who of progressive bootlicker puppet. And then next, look what we have here, June 24th, 2024. Black activists in Oakland blame the local NAACP branch for misinformation on crime. So let me actually pull up the full article so we can read it together. Give a little more context to how these people carried out their marching orders to divide the Black community and use this as tokens. Again, we have proof right here. No one ever talks about Gotham Oakland. All this criticism of Seneca, and they forget that I have a podcast with I don't know how many episodes at this point, where I'm clearly providing receipts to refute what they're saying, but they never want to talk about it. Well, let's talk about it now. Black activists in Oakland blame the local NAACP branch for misinformation on crime. Now, let me just refresh your memory real quick. Fife can outreach to NAACP, use BP as tokens. And shortly thereafter, Black activists at NAACP blame the local branch for crime. So let's scroll through this article. This recap from a radio program. But Oakland is a city in political turmoil, raided in the mayor's home by the FBI, and news story after news story about a spike in crime. It's also, like many cities, facing pushback against new criminal justice policies, changes that emerged in part of our 2020 racial justice uprising. In Oakland, some Black activists say the charge against that approach and misinformation about the cause of crime are coming from a surprising place, the local NAACP. They first start with an interview with Cynthia Adams. But let's go to, here we go. Doug Blackshear, Walter Riley, Cat Brooks. Look at who she's interviewing. Anti-Police Terror Project. All people who supported Sheng Thao. All people who are close allies of Carroll Fife. It looks to me like she carried out her marching orders. Oh, look, they mentioned me. Of course. Always mentioning Seneca Scott. Oakland's NAACP said they've taken no official position on a recall, but they are affiliated with individuals directly connected to the recall, including local activist Seneca Scott, a controversial figure who critics claim runs in far-right circles. I live in West Oakland and the Lower Bottoms. These people are so funny. Scott also went on Fox News to blame progressives for crime when he was on the executive board of the Oakland NAACP. Yep, I did. I actually helped lead the Oakland NAACP the moment I joined it in December of 2022 on the fight to get a manual recount of Oakland's failed ranked choice voting election, which led to the overturn of Mike Hutchinson's District 2 school board election and which should have led to the overturning of the mayor's election. We just didn't see it through and demand that we follow up on the Alameda County Board of Supervisors demand, if you remember, they demanded that Registrar Tim Dupuy and Alameda County Registrar's Office have a manual recount of that election, which never happened for some reason. We've talked about it before. That some reason is it takes too long and costs too much, meaning that you can't authenticate an election. You shouldn't be having them. Ranked choice voting is anti-democratic. Back to program. They're trying to divide and conquer. But here's why I bring this article up. Fife carried out her marching orders. She carried out her marching orders and she attempted to divide the Black community. Fortunately for Oakland's Black community, Fife is out of touch. As you saw, the gentleman at the beginning of our program, 70+% of Black Oaklanders voted for the recall. Over 70% of Oakland's Black community voted to recall the corrupt and racist Sheng Thao. So it looks like these progressives are out of touch. So let's talk about something else. Funding. Quinn Delaney, Wayne Jordan, Akandai, under our money section of the now famous document. Who are Quinn Delaney and Wayne Jordan? Well, if you watch Gotham Oakland, you know exactly who Quinn Delaney and Wayne Jordan are. But in case you don't know who Quinn Delaney and Wayne Jordan are, not only do they run the nonprofit Akanda, who funds all types of places, they've actually funded some pretty cool projects as well as some very disturbing projects. Here is the gist of it. They have millions spent around the country. Quinn Delaney worked with the Tides Foundation, served as the elite bag woman for progressive funding. They are both billionaires who live in Piedmont with literal Picasso paintings on their wall. They have contributed over $16 million to defund the police movements in Bay Area, California since 2016. They personally bankrolled Cat Brooks, Carroll Fife, all of these people who led to defund the police movement, who now all of a sudden want to act like it's not happening. Ebase, I'm sorry, not Ebase, or Ebase is Sabir Lockett. There's some sellouts too. One day we'll get to them, but they're more minor players. Oakland Rising Action. Look who it is. One of our favorite tokens, Sheng Thao. We're going to be covering Oakland Rising Action in Nonprofit Wars on Wednesday's episode. You do not want to miss this one. We're going to show you exactly who they're funded by, where the dark money comes from, and how it all ties together. So make sure you don't miss Wednesday's episode. Let's talk a little bit about funding. We're always talking about funders and dark money. Let's take a little trip through the dark money yellow brick road here. That wasn't the best show, but I'm rolling with it. California nurses, Local 21, Local 1021, AFL-CIO, firefighters, PG&E, who funded Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee got money from PG&E that's price gouging us? Barbara Lee got money from Airbnb too, which is very interesting. The Airbnb, PG&E, corporate, progressive, I guess. Piedmont billionaires Quinn Delaney in Oakland Rising, Steam Fitters, Greg Adams, the CEO of Kaiser Foundation, IBEW, all the unions, AFL, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, which is AFSCME, State Building and Trades, and other interest dark money. $2.1 million total. And you combine Sheng Thao fighting her recall, adding Kerr Murray Badal, who nobody ever heard of, who all of a sudden they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy her election like they tried to do for, well, not tried, like they did for Carroll Fife in 2020. And then look how those exact same entities are given to Barbara Lee. This is why Barbara Lee has not said a thing about Leigh Hansen. She quietly removed her from her website. Oh, yes, Barbara Lee had Leigh Hansen, who referred to black people as token, who was forced to, I'm sorry, it wasn't forced. She was fired. I was going to say she was forced to resign, but she was not forced to resign. She was fired for being a racist. Her and Brandon Harami were terminated as a result of this racist leak memo. And Barbara Lee had Leigh Hansen as one of her supporters. Removed her quietly, never has admonished her, completely wants to memory hold that this is even happening. So next we're going to talk about the interference campaigns at signature location. To me, this is the most damning part. They have already admitted that they were going to use city time on this document. Remember, Monday through Friday, weekends off. So in fighting a recall, they weren't going to do it on the weekends. They're going to do it on our time, Monday through Friday, with 110% by their own admittance of their effort. But look at the green below here. You see interference campaigns at signature location. Remember this? This is after I was punched. You know, I still have my sunglasses on. After I was punched in the face, that dude was weak as hell. But you see Token Ha behind me, Carroll Fife's husband, trying to look all medicine. You see Jason looking like I don't know what the heck he's doing. He should be making sure he's got my back, but he's there. He's got it. He knows I got it covered. And then you see all of these other losers from Kano and Curry J and these other groups that are mentioned on this document. And they're interfering with our getting signatures. Just like it says to do here. So it seems to me that every single thing listed in that memo, which was their manifesto, a grand plan to beat the recall, which failed, was absolutely carried out. Carroll Fife absolutely targeted the NAACP and used her influence as the councilwoman and her loyalists to the progressive movement to disparage us. 70% of Black Oakland voted for that recall. There have been no apologies, no admittance that they were wrong. Even after Sheng Thao was indicted in January, the progressives, I don't know, I don't know, guess she's bad. But the exact same people support Barbara Lee without skipping a beat, and they never apologized for Sheng Thao. Can you find me a single apology for supporting this recalled mayor from anyone who's supporting Barbara Lee? Why are any of you considering Sheng Thao 2.0? It's just, we shouldn't have to do this. The problem is, the people you saw at the beginning of that video, that first video, he says he votes. But most people down there don't vote. Most people in District 7 do not vote. Most people in District 5 are not voting. And in District 3, we have a slightly better vote because we have the gentrifiers, but the people in Campbell Village and Acorn Project and the Black people who are from those districts are not voting. We're getting less than 30% of Black Oaklanders to vote. We are 21%. 21%. 1 out of 5 voters in Oakland are Black. And we're only voting at less than 30%. Meanwhile, other races, our counterparts, white people in the hills, are voting upwards of 60%, if not 70%. We have to vote. If we could just get the people who are being impacted the most by these failed policies to just send that piece of paper back, we can defeat these dangerous, and I do mean dangerous, ideologues. They are racist. They are condescending. They are malignant narcissists to the highest degree. All they do is try to find scapegoat after scapegoat while they fell forward into better and more prominent positions in our government with this incestual politics that we have. Are we going to end it? Tomorrow we have an opportunity. Tomorrow we have an opportunity. I'm taking it. I like to vote in person. I'm old school. If you haven't voted yet, please fill that ballot out and put it, not in the mailbox, just take it to a polling station or go in person tomorrow and vote. Because I'm not anybody's token. And I'm not going to be used by Carroll Fife. I'm not going to be used by Cat Brooks. I'm not going to be used by Shani Turner. I'm not going to be used by Sabir Lockett and John Jones III and Walter Riley. And I could name a lot more of you Black puppet sellouts. None of you dare challenges me in any debate. That's all you do is try to smear my name, making things up in hysteria because I'm holding you accountable. I'm holding you accountable for supporting what I'm looking at on my screen. I'm holding you accountable for being these tokens that are used to destroy your own community. What are you holding me accountable for? Attacking some weirdo white boy, Brandon Harami, who's a racist, who is probably in this meeting? What are you attacking me for saying that children should not have permanent medical interventions done that allow them to be sterilized and not have meaningful lives? That's it? You're taking that to try to shoehorn it that somehow I'm anti-gay? I'm not. Or anti-trans? I don't care. Or have some kind of phobia? I'm not scared of anybody. And I'm not scared of most things, but one thing I do fear are these people getting any more power in Oakland. If we don't start to turn the tide here, we're going to lose this beautiful city. And you're going to lose a lot of the beautiful people with it. And you're going to be left with the most desperate, despicable, disgusting leaders in office. And when the city is laid bare and there's no one here and all you see are for rent signs, they will quietly go to another city and destroy it because that's why they're here. They're not here to do a good job. They are pleased with their handiwork. They have been put here for a reason. Dismantle, destroy, divide. Everything they do has been to those ends. Since you've seen the progressive takeover in 2016 with the election of Nikki Bath and Sheng Thao, and then in 2019 with the election of Bass and Thao, and then in 2020 with Fife, and we had a supermajority council, and then the election of Mayor Sheng Thao in 2022. They have run the show now for a good 6 years. They have passed 12 budgets. I don't know how many budgets and amendments. They have failed us. Their policies have failed us. They took a prosperous city with 3 sports teams and championed us wearing jerseys in the streets. Well, I'm from Cleveland. I have my Cavs jersey on. But you get my point. And they ruined this city in a speed of light. Now we got mail trucks running around with graffiti. We look like Biff stole the almanac, like we covered in our very first episode of Gotham Oakland. And if you haven't watched it, you may want to go back to the first episode to see where we're coming from. Anyway, my rant is over. As you know, I cannot stand the Soggies. I hope you look at that long and hard. And where's the accountability for Carroll Fife? We're not giving that up. We're going to be seeing you in city council meetings. We'll see how many of you come to, because you like to duck and dive and weasel out. And like I said, if for some reason we're fortunate enough tomorrow and Oakland listens, and we elect Lauren Taylor, who by no means perfect, but is not an enemy of Oakland, working with the racists to destroy us from the inside. Fife, we're coming for you next. It's over. You might as well resign. Because if you think you're going to sabotage this city a day further, it's not going to happen. We're going to be on your ass. Book it. Peace, Oakland. This is your host, Senator Scott, going back out in these streets to make sure I campaign. Going to District 2 to help my man Harold Lowe. Vote for Harold Lowe if you live in District 2. Love y'all. Peace.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.